I'm Christine Lisi. No plans to ride off into the sunset just yet for Chiefs coach Andy Reid after a second Super Bowl championship in 4 years. Considering what the future looks like for Kansas City, Reid is more than happy to return in 2023.
The organization that Clark Hunt's put together has been tremendous. The coaching staff, the players, it's a good, solid organization. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I've got this guy over here that is a pretty good player. So, I mean, we're doing okay.
Andy Reid, this guy, of course, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl LVII MVP, will be joining Canty and Carlin at 6:20 Eastern. Major League Baseball's extra inning, extra runner rule will remain, according to ESPN's Jesse Rogers. In all regular season games moving forward, a runner will be placed on second base from the 10th inning on in a tie game until a winner is determined. Alabama #1 in the Associated Press Top 25 men's college basketball poll for the first time in 20 years. Houston's #2 with Purdue at #3.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Super Bowl 57 delivered. The LSU basketball programs did not. And Zion. Ooh. Only one guest today, Scott Kushner. We'll talk about Zion and his injury, which apparently is lingering. I'll get to that next hour. And Derek Carr has rejected the Saints trade offer. So what does that mean? We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. All right, so what did you think about Super Bowl 57? I loved the entirety of it. Last week, we had some friends that said, hey, do y'all want to come over for the Super Bowl? And I said, no, I don't want to come to your house for the Super Bowl. So don't be offended. It's not your house. It's that I'm not going to anybody's house for the Super Bowl. But Erica and Drew went, and so I enjoyed Super Bowl Sunday in blissful silence. I threw a steak on the grill, made me a little salted baked potato, poured a glass of wine, sat on my back patio, smoked a cigar, and just drank in all of Super Bowl Sunday by myself. And it was awesome. It was so good. It was the best day I've had in a long time. All I need to do is just be alone. But seriously, I thought everything about Super Bowl Sunday delivered yesterday. I thought, starting with the Johnny Cash Ragged Old Flag rendition, I thought Babyface nailed America the Beautiful. Now I know what Babyface looks like. That's a good thing. Chris Stapleton, Anthem. What did you think? Muse Stapleton's Anthem. I didn't love it.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I like Stapleton. Yeah. I like the Southern rock. I like Chris Stapleton. I'm not like a country fan, but I don't think he's country.
No, I wouldn't classify him as country.
Yeah, he's more like Southern rock. So, but I like him. The Anthem, I didn't love it, but still, you're good.
Shorter than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Good. I loved the Tillman Scholar tribute.
That was cool.
Very appropriate. The game in Arizona, tribute to Pat Tillman. They brought the Tillman Scholars out to participate in the coin toss. Everything hit. We'll talk about the game, but Rihanna, look, y'all. Rihanna gave birth 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
9 months ago. She's already preggers again and went and slayed it in front of 100 million people. I mean, on rising platforms, dangling above the field, doing the dances with the dudes dressed in marshmallow suit costumes, whatever they were. I love the memes of those guys now. We're like all running out in the field together like a pack of puppies. That's great. And she hit after hit after hit. Did she do Disturbia? I don't think
she did not.
That's the
do
only
Disturbia.
one she didn't do that I was expecting to hear. And I was thinking back, I'm like, I don't think she did Disturbia. But look, if I knew every song she did, she nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
So-
she did. She played all the hits. I thought she was going to bring
Nailed
out Jay-Z a couple times there, though, for a minute, man.
There was
really
no
did.
cameos,
Yeah.
which was a little odd. You're used to seeing that, but I thought Rihanna nailed it. I even thought the commercials delivered. I don't think you had like anything that's like legendary that's going to live on for years and years and years that people will talk about. But by and large, we're going to get into some of the Super Bowl ad meter ratings and stuff. Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, I had favorite. But I was going to say a lot of nostalgia with the commercials this year, man. A lot of nostalgia.
First one off the top of your head, which one did you like?
I really liked the Amazon dog commercial where they got the dog that was destroying the house of Puppy Friend. I thought that was awesome.
That was the highest rated one on the ad meter. Paulie, what was your favorite? Or just the first one that comes to your mind?
Mine was the Bud Light with Miles Teller dancing.
That was good.
I thought that did really well also. So I had written both those down. So my point is, and the game delivered. Right from jump, man. First of all, the fact that you had the two best teams in the NFL. You had the 2 1 seeds. You had the two quarterbacks that finished 1-2 in the MVP voting. Mahomes won it. Jalen Hurts was second. He was runner-up. Mahomes led the NFL in passing this year. First quarterback since the 1940s. Only third ever. It's like Sid Luckman and Johnny Unitas. And now Patrick Mahomes are the only quarterbacks to lead the league in passing the same year they win the Super Bowl, or win the Super Bowl the same year that they led the league in passing. I mean, you had these two great quarterbacks, the two best offenses in the league, the 2 1 seeds, and the spread was 1.5, and it comes right down to the very end. I mean, you're tied at 35, and the Chiefs kicked the game-winning field goal. Can we hear this, by the way? A couple of calls. Here was the local radio call in Kansas City. This is courtesy of 106.5 The Wolf. This is 106.5 The Wolf. What a great radio station, right? Well, it's puke and chest hair in the morning on 106.5 The Wolf here in Kansas City.
Oh, gotta have a howl.
You know they got a howl.
Oh, they
All
gotta
right,
have a howl.
let's hear it from 106.5 The Wolf.
Townsend will hold it. 11 seconds left in Super Bowl 57, 35-35 tie. The kick is good, and Kansas City leads 38-35 with 8 seconds to go in regulation in Super Bowl 57.
That could not have been the local radio call. He was not nearly excited enough. Was that that couldn't have been the local radio call.
I assume it was because it was in our little sports prep email.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. This was the call on Fox, courtesy of what's his name and the other guy that are in the booth now for the guys that we used to pay attention to. Hit it.
Here we go. Hurts has all day. Now some rushers come. Going to throw it as far as his arm can take it, which is well short. And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57.
No, that's not the field goal. That's the final call.
The final call.
That's the final call. Courtesy of, what's his name?
Kevin Burkhardt.
I was thinking Harlan, but it's not Kevin Harlan. It's the poor guy.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase. Not poor guy. The guy just called the Super Bowl. It's just nobody knows him. I mean, it's just obviously Aikman and Buck left, and Burkhardt and Olsen got elevated. They did a fine job. The game delivered. I think, gangbusters out the chute. The Eagles go down and score a touchdown. The Chiefs rally right behind them with another touchdown. My goodness, the Eagles put a stranglehold on the thing in the first half, and you're thinking the last image you have in the first half is Patrick Mahomes crawling off the field and wincing in pain, going into a 30-minute halftime and down 10 points. And the only reason it's not worse is because Jalen Hurts had a brain fart and just dropped the football, which kept Kansas City miraculously in the game. I mean, the Eagles doubled up the Chiefs and plays and yardage and everything in the first half. And then Patrick Mahomes proved why he's the best player in the NFL. He proved why he's going to own this league for the next decade. At this point in his career, at 27 years old, he's been to 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2 of them, and on one leg, could not be stopped in the second half by this vaunted Philly Eagle defense. I mean, this is an Eagles defense who finished third in the history of the NFL, third most sacks in the season in the history of the NFL, and they didn't get Mahomes once. So major hat tip to the Kansas City offensive line. What a job they did protecting Mahomes. When Mahomes had to tuck it and run, the 26-yarder in the fourth quarter was probably the most pivotal play of the game. I know a lot of people are talking about the penalty at the end of the game that was thrown. I have no problem with it whatsoever. It was obvious. Bradbury grabbed Juju Smith-Schuster. Flag came out. It's what it is. Would I have preferred that it had happened cleanly and there not have been a flag in that moment? Sure, but you got to throw the flag. I mean, even Bradbury acknowledged it was a penalty. I mean, everybody acknowledged it was a penalty. It was a good call. So flag came out, and I thought also tip of the cap to Jerick McKinnon, who had a beautiful heads-up play to go down at the 1-yard line. I mean, the Eagles were going to let him score. He goes down at the 1. It allows Kansas City to milk the clock, ultimately kick a chip shot field goal, which would ultimately be the final score. So, look, man, so often in life, y'all, we hype things up, and it just doesn't live up to it. And it is rare that you hype something and it delivers, and I thought Super Bowl 57 delivered in every way. So a huge day for the NFL. The game delivered, the teams delivered, all the pregame festivities, the halftime show, it all delivered. It was phenomenal theater for the full day. So I enjoyed it. So we'll talk legacies. What comes out of Super Bowl 57 now? Patrick Mahomes gets his second. How do the Eagles sort of recap or a rebound after the loss? We already got Super Bowl odds for next year that have been published. We'll talk plenty about it throughout the show today, and we'll welcome your interaction. So you know how to get us. You can email us, tweet us. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved. Let me know your thoughts, your takeaways from Super Bowl 57. We'll get to a lot of it here throughout the day today. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll get some of your reaction. And I do want to talk about Derek Carr rejecting the Saints trade offer, according to multiple reports. What does that mean? We're going to get into all of that as we continue. Glad you're here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Man, we had a great time on Friday out at Rouse's in Denham. Thanks to everybody who came out. But look, now Super Bowl 57 is in the rearview mirror. We are heading straight into springtime, and you know that means crawfish. So get on by Rouse's. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You can go to the website at rouses.com, and what you'll see right there is, of course, their crawfish tab. It's not too late for king cakes, by the way. Mardi Gras is coming up next Tuesday, so you got another week to take advantage of the king cakes. Listen, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. You need roses. They got them at Rouse's. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Gentlemen, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. You need roses. You need the box of chocolates. You need the heart balloons, whatever you need for Valentine's Day. Hey, guys, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Don't screw it up. Get her something special. You can get it all at Rouse's. Any of the locations, of course, across all of Louisiana, it's Rouse's and Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana, It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on this Monday edition of AFR. We will, in about 45 minutes from right now, we'll chat with Scott Kushner. We'll talk about Zion Williamson. Apparently, his injury there persists, so we'll get the absolute latest and what it means for the team as they head into the All-Star week. So last week, Derek Carr visited the New Orleans Saints, and we spent a lot of time talking about Derek Carr, what a potential move to the Saints might look like, and I, in no uncertain terms, told you that I was adamantly opposed to the Saints trading for Derek Carr. And I want this to be very clear because I think there's even been confusion on my stance on this, which there should be none because I'm not sure I could have been any more clear in the way I said it. Derek Carr today, better option than Andy Dalton today. I don't even think that's debatable. Today, Derek Carr is better than Andy Dalton. It's a better option. However, if the Saints were to trade for Derek Carr, again, give up assets to get a player in his 30s who's declining with that contract, I said that would be the worst personnel decision the Saints have made since trading an entire draft for Ricky Williams. Now, I'm not opposed to the Saints signing Derek Carr as a free agent. If there were a team-friendly deal, great. I'm all for that. Trading for Derek Carr is something I was adamantly opposed to. Well, it looks like Derek Carr has taken that decision-making away from the Saints because Ian Rappaport on Super Bowl Sunday tweeted, Derek Carr has informed the Raiders that he will not accept a trade to the Saints or any other team. He notes the team is expected to release him, and he'll be a top free agent. So, Derek Carr has a no-trade clause, does not have to accept a trade to any team, and apparently will not accept a trade to any team. There was another report from the Associated Press that suggested that, and I'm going to read this directly. Again, it was on a condition of anonymity. Apparently, they had the framework. The Saints and the Raiders had the framework of a deal in place, but Carr would not. Again, this is according to a source from the Associated Press. Carr would not accept a pay cut to help finalize the deal, and the Saints were the only team interested in making a trade for Derek Carr, which that in and of itself should tell you a lot. When you're the only team interested in something, you kind of need to look in the mirror. So you all know the situation. Carr visited the Saints on Wednesday. His contract, $40.4 million of his contract with the Raiders becomes guaranteed. So the Raiders are going to cut him before that contract becomes guaranteed. He'll become a free agent, can sign wherever he wants. So a few things. Number one, I think this lets you know Derek Carr's priority. I think this goes to show you that when the only team that was willing to give up assets for you, the only team that was willing to make a trade for you, and you say no, I mean, because you don't want to take a pay cut, that tells you where his priority is. Now, this is a guy that in 9 seasons has career earnings of $135 million. Money shouldn't be the driver for Derek Carr. But then again, who am I to say? Every person in every industry, everywhere, has different motivating factors. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's winning. For some people, it's notoriety. For some people, it's location. I don't know. I don't know what Derek Carr sees as his priority, but the Saints were the only team that were willing to make a trade for him, and he said no. I also don't know that the Saints are going to be able to make the most attractive financial offer. Now, maybe they could if they structure something that spreads out over many years. That's sort of team and cap friendly. They could structure something that way. But I would hope the Saints aren't going to spend $37 million annually on Derek Carr, which according to Spotrac, that is his market value. It's about $37 million per year. That seems ludicrous to me, but that's going rate for a premier starting quarterback in the NFL. The other thing this confirms to me, though, is the Saints' poor decision-making. Because if this report is to be believed, then I have no reason to doubt it. I mean, guys like Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and the Associated Press have all essentially reported the same thing, that the Saints had the framework of a deal in place to acquire Derek Carr. And if you were going to sort of remove yourself from the vacuum of just what does it look like with Derek Carr with Saints in 2023 and think about the big picture ramifications of that decision, essentially the Saints' willingness to make a deal for Derek Carr tells you, it gives you a glimpse into the mind of where Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen feel like this team, this roster is. They're willing to give up assets for Derek Carr, which tells you they feel like Derek Carr can win them a championship. The Saints, for 15 years now, have been in, we said it, perpetual win-now mode. Like they are trying to win championships every year. And if they're willing to give up assets to, again, understand what those assets mean, what they represent, the opportunity to bring on talented players on rookie contracts, affordable young players. Yes, in some ways that suggests a rebuild, but think about the Saints' great pushes of the last era. They're rooted in the 2006 draft and the 2017 draft, when you hit on a bunch of young players that became the cornerstones of your great teams. Essentially, the Saints are saying, we don't want those assets because we feel like we're Derek Carr away from being a contender. And I just fundamentally disagree with that. I don't know where you stand on it. I don't know where the consensus, if there is a consensus among the fan base, but I don't know how you could realistically look at this roster. That is James Hurst at left tackle. That's probably going to purge Andrus Peat as a cap casualty this year. That got very little out of Trevor Penning, but we're all hopeful for him in the future. That has Cesar Ruiz, who played better this year, but again, I don't think up to this point in his career he's lived up to the billing as a first-round pick. That after Alvin Kamara, who has yet since his rookie year to play a full season and could miss a chunk of this next year because of the incident in Las Vegas. That is thin. Chris Olave, I think, has proven he can be a number one receiver in the NFL. And Rashid Shaheed is exciting, certainly. But I don't think we're going to look at the Saints receiving core and look at it as deep as we would have with Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, had they all been healthy and played the way they were. You flip it over, your defensive line clearly took giant steps back. Demario Davis is a great player, but he's aging. I think you probably have solidified cornerback, and safety is a giant question. I don't know how you can look at this team with all of the holes they have and say they're Derek Carr away from being a contender. But that's clearly what this front office thinks by their willingness to trade for Derek Carr. And that's concerning to me. That's very concerning to me. Now, the next big question becomes, okay, the Raiders are going to cut Derek Carr by Wednesday. Well, will Derek Carr pick the Saints? What is his market going to look like? Ian Rappaport was on the Pat McAfee show today and suggested that a deal with the Saints or a union with the Saints and Derek Carr isn't necessarily done.
With Derek Carr said to be a free agent, had he been traded, which he's not going to be now, he would have been the first domino. Now, I think there are some teams, and I know the Saints are still interested. I know he's still interested in them. Now, when he's a free agent, he could potentially just negotiate his own new contract with the Saints, not have to worry about his old contract.
Hold on, doesn't he want $40 million? He's not going to get $40 million on the open market, is he?
I don't think so, but it wasn't $40 million. It was $40 million guaranteed, spread out over 2 years. So it was $33 this year. Now, might he get a little less than that? I think that's possible, but free agency sometimes dictates different things than what we expect, so we'll see what the market is.
Even if you're talking about in the neighborhood of $30 million for Derek Carr, I understand to have nice things, sometimes you have to spend money. I'm not opposed. I'm not saying don't spend money on nice things. Was perfectly fine paying Michael Thomas the contract you did. Perfectly fine paying Ryan Ramczyk and Marshawn Lattimore. You want nice things, you have to pay for it. That's fine. What I don't want to do is overpay for a 32-year-old quarterback who I think is near the end of his career, and certainly is on the downside of his productivity. So what does that look like? I don't know. So the next big question becomes, what is the market like for Derek Carr? And, I mean, however you want to stack up these rankings, I mean, Pro Football Focus took a stab at it, and they ranked the quarterback-needy teams in the NFL. And some are obvious, like the Texans and the Colts and the Panthers, the Jets. Like, these teams have to make a move to bring in a quarterback. But the Texans and the Colts and the Panthers are all at the top of the draft. They're all going to draft a quarterback in whatever way it works out. The Jets are making inquiries about Aaron Rodgers. The Raiders are going to cut Derek Carr. They need a quarterback, but that's not going to be Derek Carr. The Washington Commanders, the Carson Wentz era there is over. Are you convinced it's Taylor Heineke? No. So they need a quarterback. And then if you look at number 7 on the list from Pro Football Focus, it's New Orleans, followed by Atlanta. We'll see what they do there if they're convinced Desmond Ritter's their guy. The Titans at 9 could be interesting. If you're Derek Carr, it keeps you in the AFC. You got a really strong running game and a good defense. And then you got guys, teams with young quarterbacks, the Patriots, the Bears, the Dolphins, Tampa, the Rams. What happens in Green Bay if Rodgers does leave? These teams could come into the conversation a little bit, but you can sort of see how the Saints kind of stand alone potentially in this market for Derek Carr, which is why I think there was no real suitors in the trade market for him. And while there's other quarterback-needy teams, most of them that are desperate for a quarterback that are a better situation maybe than New Orleans are going to draft quarterbacks. So it may come down to the Saints and Derek Carr, Derek Carr signing with the Saints as a free agent, which, again, I'm perfectly fine with, provided the terms of the deal are fair and the Saints don't compromise their future by committing a long-term expensive deal to a quarterback who's near the end of his career. So we'll follow this. It's going to be the big story now. I mean, the first big domino to fall for New Orleans in the offseason was going to be the Sean Payton news. What happened with Sean Payton? Were the Saints going to recoup any assets for Payton? We now know the answer. Okay, they got a first-round pick from Denver as a result. The second is, okay, what do you do at quarterback? And they're making their move for Derek Carr. And we'll see if he ultimately picks New Orleans and signs with the Saints as a free agent. If he does, then you go into the draft knowing who your starting quarterback is going to be, still with your full complement of draft assets. So that might be an ideal situation for the Saints, depending on how much it costs to acquire Derek Carr. But with a $37 million price tag in the upper 30s, $30 million per year, that's really tough to stomach for a guy at this point in his career who to me, I continue to say it, feels and looks more and more like Andy Dalton was. I mean, we went over their stats last week. I mean, he is statistically what Andy Dalton was when Andy Dalton got pushed out in Cincinnati. I mean, their final seasons were almost mirror images. And we know what happened with Dalton. He went to Dallas and then the Bears and New Orleans, 3 teams in 3 years, and he just, he can't stick anywhere because he's done. How close to that is Carr? And I think he's essentially that guy at this point in his career. All right. Let me know if you got a thought on Derek Carr. Rejects a trade offer from the New Orleans Saints. We'll see what a free agent deal potentially could look like and what that market will be. We should start to find that out by Wednesday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. I want to remind you, tomorrow, Valentine's Day, over at Aesthetic, they have an open house all day. So they'll have refreshment, you have food, beverages all day, and great one-day-only specials. But it's an open house, so you can go meet the staff, meet Dr. Howell, meet the whole staff at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, and take advantage of their one-day-only specials all day at both locations, Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. And everybody that comes in is going to win something. They'll have these scratch-offs for everybody that comes in. So everybody that comes in is going to win something tomorrow, Tuesday, all day, Valentine's, at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, right near Perkins. Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, we'll go around the SEC when we come back. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Scott Kushner in 30 minutes. Talk a little bit about Zion Williamson and the remainder of this season and what it means for his future as he just continues to have setbacks from that hamstring injury. It's to say it's concerning is a massive understatement right now, but we'll get the latest coming up here shortly. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I am so pumped to officially welcome Traction Sports Performance to the AFR family. Y'all, we've talked about Traction for years, and I am so pleased now to talk about the best facility, the best trainers, the best technology. Parents, if your child is an athlete, no matter the sport, Traction Sports Performance. It's where champions are made. They have sessions 4 a month, 8 a month, or an unlimited number of sessions where you can have performance training and baseball and specific sports skill training as well. It's Traction Sports Performance. You know where Traction is? They're on Burbank. We've told you forever. I mean, it's where the pros train. It's incredible that your son or daughter could be in the same facility as a professional athlete in their sport, getting the same level of training from the same people with the same equipment. What an asset it is to Baton Rouge. It's Traction Sports Performance. TractionSports.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR World Champion.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Shout out Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Calaha! You got the fight song handy, Muse? I got to hear it. Got to hear a little bit of it. Yeah! Let's go! Muse, you see the graphic LSU put up?
I saw it. I did, yeah.
How about that?
I saw it.
State champion, national champion, Super Bowl champion. Hey, where did he win that state championship, Muse? Huh?
The Superdome.
Yeah, with what team?
Catholic High School.
Yeah! Calaha! My goodness. Good on you, Clyde. I love to see it, man. I don't know that he got in the game yesterday. I haven't checked the participation report. I know he didn't record a stat, but I don't care. Guy spent a lot of the season injured. He was a rookie back in 2020 when the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl and lost to Tampa. Of course, last year they lost at home in the AFC Championship game. But to get back and get you one, good on you, Clyde. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire. How about that trifecta? State champion, national champion, Super Bowl champion. That's a hell of a ring collection, man.
It's pretty good, man.
That is phenomenal.
A lot of hardware.
I'm reminded of how fortunate some guys are. And look, obviously I'm not saying Clyde's lucky. You put in a ton of work. And look, I called that state championship game where, he was the best player on the field. And we all remember, of course, Clyde in the national championship game. That's the whole season. He was first team All SEC. He was magnificent. And this year I think has been a little trying for him there in Kansas City to be injured, to see a guy like Pacheco come in as a seventh rounder and really steal a lot of those reps. And look, Pacheco's been fantastic, but to see Clyde have the opportunity to win another ring is awesome. And the point I was making is sort of the contrast. And I couldn't help but think of a guy like Kevin Minter, who we talked about Kevin often. And I think the world of him. Was a great linebacker at LSU, was an All-American on that 2011 team. And Kevin, in high school in Georgia, lost state championship game. And then, of course, at LSU, lost the national championship game to Alabama, the 21-0 game. And so then in the NFL, he wasn't on many good teams. The Jets and the he was in Cincinnati for a minute as well. He bounced around a little bit, and then landed in Tampa. And of course, Tom Brady comes in and they won the Super Bowl in 2020 in the COVID year, and it was his first time getting to the final game and winning it, which was awesome to see. So some guys have to wait for that opportunity. There's others who success follows them. And it's not coincidental, and Clyde's one of them. So congrats to Clyde, state champion, national champion, and Super Bowl champion now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. member of the Chiefs, who was activated for the game yesterday after having been injured for a lot of this season, back in time for the Super Bowl, and got to be part of that celebration. So, Paul, can you change that one too, please? Like, just put that one on ESPN. I don't need VH1 on the I don't even know why VH1's on in here. We have like all this row of TVs up on the wall, and we have WBTR, so we have the show on there. But I don't know why. You can just hit like 35. It's good. Yeah, there you go. Good. All right. To tap to further review, Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. A guy, Brandon Holly, had him a little Super Bowl ad. If you're watching here locally in the Baton Rouge area, Relief Windows had a Super Bowl ad yesterday. It was good to see a lean and mean version of Brandon Holly. If you haven't seen him lately, man, my guy looks like he's ready to go play middle linebacker. The guy looks awesome right now. So good on him. Transformed his body. You'll start to see it in all the ads. But Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
All right, we are going to run through some of the basketball scores and the results from this past weekend, but in case you missed it, Alabama is the new number 1 team in the country in the AP Top 25. First time Alabama number 1 in 20 years. They received 38 first-place votes from the 62-person media panel, so they moved up 2 spots. They leapfrogged number 2 Houston. The spot was opened by virtue of Purdue's loss to Northwestern last week, which kind of caused a little bit of a jumble there in the top 25. So Alabama is number 1. Tennessee, they fall to 10th in the polls, and that's it from the SEC. So a league which we thought would be much deeper is certainly having its struggles, and that showed itself over the weekend. Kentucky went to Stegman Coliseum there in Athens and got upended by Georgia. So the Bulldogs snap a 3-game losing streak, upsetting Kentucky 75-68. Oscar Tshiebwe led the way for the Wildcats with 20 points, 14 boards, and 4 assists, but it wasn't enough as the Bulldogs moved to 5-7. Kentucky, which is very much on the bubble for the NCAA tournament at 16-9 overall, 7-5 in the league. Their resume takes a blow. The pillow fight in Oxford saw South Carolina earn their second conference win. So South Carolina beats Ole Miss 64-61. As we mentioned, Alabama, by virtue of their win over Auburn and the upset earlier in the week with Purdue losing to Northwestern, vaults Alabama to number 1 in the country. Bama went down to Auburn Arena and won 77-69. Vanderbilt, don't look now, but Jerry Stackhouse and the Doors, they go down to Gainesville at the O'Connell Center and beat Florida 88-80. So Vandy runs its record in the league even at 6-6. Florida falls to 6-6 in conference play. Mississippi State with maybe the surprising result of the day. Well, no, there were 3 surprise results. The Kentucky game was one of them, the one we're about to talk about, but this was another. Mississippi State went to Bud Walton Arena and nipped the Razorbacks 70-64. And how about Tennessee at home losing to Missouri in a wild situation? It was a buzzer beater by Missouri, a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Tennessee missed the opportunity for an and one, had a foul on the rebound. Missouri had the opportunity, hit the 3-pointer at the buzzer to win it 86-85. And as you know, LSU fell at home 74-62 to Texas A&M, running LSU's losing streak to a dozen. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get with our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. They proudly sell the Savin line, but they will service all different makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. Again, online at GCOPnet.com. All right, one of the things I want to talk about here to wrap up hour number 1, Super Bowl legacies, a second Super Bowl championship for Patrick Mahomes, a second championship for Andy Reid. What does it mean for those two, and also for Jalen Hurts to get there in year 3 and to lose it? How does it look forward for him, for the Eagles? We'll get into all of that. So we'll continue talking Super Bowl 57, get to a lot of your reaction as well, and we're glad to have you aboard with us here. Scott Kushner in about 15 minutes, talk some Pels. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. We had a little cold snap last night as we got in the 30s, but today the high of 72, the low tonight of 53. It's just the perfect time to plant something. I'll tell you every day about all the flowers and the plants and the trees and the shrubs. The shipments arriving nearly daily over at Clegg's Nursery. So if you're looking to add that pop of color, to get those flowers, those plants in the ground right now is a perfect time to do it. But remember, it's also time to start thinking about bringing your lawn back to life for spring. So if you're noticing weeds popping up in your lawn, Clegg's has a weed-killing cocktail. If you're not sure what to do, what to spread, what to use, just go to Clegg's. They have all the answers. Any of the 4 locations. Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. It's Clegg's Nursery, partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so everything you find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. Bulls, Bands, and Barrels.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think everybody knew that, but these last two Super Bowls kind of cemented that. And to have someone that is such a great person who gets the best out of the players and to become men and players, you wanted to do that. You wanted to win those Super Bowls for them, and it was it's great that we did that. And like you said, man, we're not done. I'm gonna have them around here for a little bit longer at least.
The sort of reinvention of Andy Reid in Kansas City has been remarkable. He's the winningest coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. He's the greatest coach they've ever had there. I don't even know that there's even an argument. I understand that Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl there, but when you talk about longevity, wins, winning percentage, playoff victories, all the sort of things, I mean, Andy Reid went to a handful of NFC championship games, and that was always the knock on him in Philly, was he kept having these NFC championship games at home that he just couldn't win and get over the hump. Lo and behold, I guess it took Patrick Mahomes to get there. But when you think about how much he won, for how long he won in Philly, and then to essentially have an entire act 2 of your career where you continue winning at an even greater clip at a place where, I mean, they were atrocious. I mean, he inherited a terrible organization at the time, a terrible team at the time, team that drafted first overall when they got Eric Fisher, and has turned them now, thanks, of course, in large part to the help of Patrick Mahomes, but into a team that is this decade's dynasty. I mean, that's 3 Super Bowls in 4 seasons that they've been to. They've won 2 of them, and it sure doesn't look like they're slowing down at any time. Now, Andy Reid's 64 years old, and the question kind of becomes about his future, and he was asked that after the game, as you'd imagine. He'll continue to be asked this over and over again. Here's what he said.
Listen, I mean, I look in the mirror and I'm old. My heart, though, is young. I mean, I still enjoy doing what I'm doing. I got asked that 50 times here. And finally, I just go, whatever, man. You know, whatever. And that's a good friend. Jay Glazer's a good friend. So, I mean, he's probably telling me to get my tail out. I'm too old. But I'm good with what I'm doing right now. So,
you know, I think we look at sometimes we look at coaching in the same lens as we do like just a typical 9 to 5, right? And a lot of us work our jobs and we save for retirement and hope to retire at 65 or whatever that number is, right? And so conceptually, as we think of retirement, we think of, we work our job, we save money, we plan, we have a strategy to plan for retirement, so we have enough money to live our lives as independently as we want for as long as we live. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm always fascinated by the mentality of coaches because they don't think the way we think. It is whatever that thing is, that inherent thing that makes them do what they do, that doesn't allow them to stop. And this has been something that I know I've kept a close eye on here on the show over the last decade, as we've seen a lot of coaches start to retire younger, but ultimately find their way back to the game. Bob Stoops did it at Oklahoma. He retired, found his way back in the XFL. Urban Meyer found his way back. Gene Chizik retired, did TV, now he's back as the defensive coordinator at North Carolina. Turner Gill retired as a coach. Now he's in an off-field role, but he's back kind of in it at Arkansas. Sean Payton takes a step away. He's right back in a year later. John Gruden stepped away young, ultimately got back in. Now we know what happened with Gruden, but still, but not for the emails that leaked, he'd still be coaching. And I think that's the point. Like, they don't know how to stop. And I really feel, and I don't mean this to be like, I sincerely don't mean this to be like flippant or offensive or rude or anything of the sort. But I really believe, like, if these guys stopped coaching, they would die. I mean, y'all hear stories about that, like how, I mean, I've heard Warren Buffett talk about this. I mean, Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the world, and he still works because he says it keeps him sharp, it keeps his mind active. He wants to do it. He loves what he does. He doesn't work because he needs to. It's just the thing that he does that he loves. And so I kind of feel the same way with these coaches. So, and if you're Andy Reid at 64 and you love what you're doing, and you got more money than you can ever spend, but it's a thing you love, and oh, by the way, you've got the best player in the world on your team at 27 years old, like, where are you going? Coach another 5 years. Coach another 10 years. Coach as long as you want, as long as Patrick Mahomes is doing this. I mean, just keep further winning and solidifying your legacy even more. What's the alternative? I mean, I think I heard Andy Reid say something to the effect of, when that Blue Beach chair just grabs me and doesn't let me up, I'll know it's time. But if it ain't time, it ain't time, man. Bill Belichick's 70 years old. What does Bill Belichick have to prove? Nothing, but he wants to coach. Same with Nick Saban. I mean, it's just those guys will keep rolling and enjoy them while you got them. Watch them continue to solidify their legacy and cement their place in history, and you can 30 years from now say, I remember watching them win. All right, it's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, we'll shift gears a bit. I want to talk some Pels. Scott Kushner is going to be here. Zion's injury is going to persist. We'll talk about it when we come back right after SportsCenter. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Remember, you can do the entire car buying process online at southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned, it's right there. You can search by year, make, model, body style, price. Narrow that search by whatever criteria you want to find the vehicle you're looking for, and the exact vehicle that you're looking for is on the website. It's not like stock photos from a factory. Like right here, I just click the new vehicles. The first one is a 2023 Atlas 3.6-liter V6 SEL R-Line Black. The photos, I mean, it's the vehicle that's there on the lot at South Point Volkswagen. It's super easy to use the website. You can even work out your financing and do it all right there at southpointvw.com. They are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, so they can always give you the best deal because they move the most inventory. It's South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The city parish is having to answer some tough questions after workers tore down the property belonging to a man who says the house was left to him by his mom. He says he paid the necessary fines to stop the process, even though the house was placed on the city's blight list. The demolition opening up new pain for one family. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Water.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The city of Kansas City is ready for another Super Bowl championship parade. The parade to honor quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for their second Lombardi Trophy in 4 seasons, set for Wednesday. The MVP of Super Bowl LVII is the third quarterback to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs and multiple Super Bowls. And even though he's just 27, Mahomes already among the 3 best QBs all time, in the opinion of ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
So the guy's gone to 5 straight Pro Bowls. He's won 5 straight division titles. He's got 5 straight 12 or more win seasons. He's gone to 5 straight conference championship games. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships, 2 MVPs, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's the greatest start to a career ever.
Patrick Mahomes will join Canty and Carlin at 6:20 Eastern. NBA, the Lakers' LeBron James with a sore left ankle out a 3rd straight game against the Blazers tonight. He did go through an extensive individual workout post-shoot-around today. Major League Baseball unanimously voted to make the regular season extra inning automatic runner on second base rule permanent from here on forward.
Coming up Tuesday, Jalen Hurts balled out in his first Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, they lost, but I'll tell you why. The Eagles have to pay him. That's Tuesday, 6 a.m. Eastern on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We're talking Super Bowl ads in about 15 minutes. What was your favorite commercial? Got mine. We'll talk about it. Oh, we got some bad news yesterday. On Sunday, we learned that Zion's injury apparently re-aggravated, and it's going to be a few more weeks. So, a guy who knows a lot about being a disappointed sports fan, I figured who else would we turn to but Scott Kushner. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. What an intro that is. Perpetual sad boy, Scott Kushner, yes.
It's so easy. It's just like every time you come on, I was thinking, what fun way am I going to be able to jab Kushner in the nose?
I won 1 championship with a team, and I tore my ACL 5 minutes after it happened.
No, wait, did you really?
Yes, in the dog pile at the friend's house. Tore my ACL.
What championship did you win?
The Super Bowl. The Saints Super Bowl. That was it. I've one team that has ever won anything ever. And I tore my ACL within 5 minutes of the Tracy Porter reception.
Well, dude, you were so cursed.
God was so like, oh, wait, what?
Wait, what? Well, I gotta say, who else do you like? I just gotta start keeping like a running tally of like Tennessee. Well, you had a good year. Look, Tulane, and how about the Tennessee Missouri game on Saturday?
Dude, the whole week, both games. We lost on 3-pointers at the buzzer, both games after missing a free throw on the other end.
Do you ever just look and say, "Why me"?
Sometimes I'm just like, I think I missed and done something really stupid at some point. I was going to go to LSU in 2003, Matt, and chose to go to Tennessee. And 8 months later, I was in the Superdome as they're hoisting the trophy. And instead, I'm watching the demise of Philip Fulmer for the next 20 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good.
My world, man.
Okay, so then put some that's so good. Put some perspective then on Zion, this lingering injury now. We find out he had a setback. Where does this rank in your sucko meter?
We should know better. We all should know better.
I know.
The second it says Zion Williamson is hurt, and the second that there's a timeline that's released, we should all know better. And I don't blame anybody for getting sucked into it again and being hopeful, because literally every person I talked to around the organization, and from the top to the bottom, was all like, oh, yeah, he'll be back, before the All-Star game, and he's probably going to play in the All-Star game. And I was like, well, that's good. Like, that seems like a normal injury, that a normal recovery timetable, and things are progressing the way they're supposed to, and, whatever. And of course, that's not what happened. Of course, it's like the day before that you're supposed to get the news that, like, all right, every trains are on time. No, nothing's on time, and now it's bad. And now, of course, all of those good vibes have shifted into, like, total disaster mode of, like, well, might not play another game this year. And it's like, oh, what? So the bottom line is nobody seems to really know what's going on that is at least talking, and that this is, the tale of Zion, which is that he's never healthy, and you don't know if it's because the training staff has had problems or that this guy is just such a unique body shape and unique pounding to his legs that, you can't really account for it in an NBA schedule. And or it was just horrendous luck. But I am now past that point where I just cannot believe this is just luck over and over again. Something is going on here that is larger than that.
Okay, so which is it?
I think it's him. I think, and not in like it's his fault kind of way. I think he's just a incredibly unique person, and you cannot, like, I don't think you can set up a medical situation for him that does not allows for him to, like, deal with the amount of stress he puts on his lower extremities. I mean, it's just like he's a defensive end playing in the NBA, and not just playing in it, like, he is the most athletic guy in the league. So it is just really hard to determine what's going on. And every single one of these injuries has followed the same pattern, and that they're all lower body. They all think they have a certain recovery timetable, and that recovery timetable gets flushed down the toilet because they don't understand how his body works. And I don't think that's just a Pelicans issue, because there's more than just their doctors on it. But it is a humongous bummer, and they need to rethink everything if they haven't already.
Okay. By the way, he's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Give him a follow. So let's take what we know. So Zion had this setback. Fill in the blanks as far as the timeline, when he's going to be reevaluated, when he could be back, all that sort of stuff.
I think they're reevaluating him a week after the All-Star game, which is 2.5 weeks away. So we'll see. And then, from that point, then they got to, get him ramped back up, and they got to, first of all, see if the images are what they want them to be. Thus far, they haven't been what they want them to be. I think any return of any regular season game at this point, I think would be considered a big plus. And that is a terrible thought, considering that we expected him, and I say we in the general we, like, literally every person I talked to was very optimistic 2 weeks ago that he would be back by this week. And I don't know what changed. And I just know that things took a turn in the other direction, as far as, like, this being a setback, or he just didn't recover in the way that they thought he would. And I hate talking about this stuff, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a trainer. I don't know anything about this, except for just to say that, like, it continues to be the same problem over and over and over again. And at some point, we all need to learn the lesson that, like, this doesn't follow the traditional model of injuries for professional sports.
Yeah.
It is always worse than it's supposed to be. And that is a huge bummer.
Is there any, I'm trying to think, Scott, I've been thinking about this all day. I'm trying to think of a comp for someone who had injury problems, was thought early in his career, was thought to be injury prone, and they kind of worked it out. Like, people might bring to mind Greg Oden, but that's a very different thing. Greg Oden had microfracture surgery, and it was like, this all feels like it's a meniscus, it's a hamstring, it's soft tissue things. It's just, his muscle and his tissue that's being taxed because he's so explosive. Well, again, I'm not a doctor or therapist, like you said, but again, it's not something that'll look and go, like, microfracture ended Greg Oden's career. Like, a hamstring isn't going to end Zion's career. But is there any example of someone who was able to get a handle on their injury situation and not have it be a problem?
I can think of two very prominent ones in the NBA.
Okay.
Joel Embiid, who missed
yes.
almost all of his first 3 seasons. He was out constantly, and it was very similar issues every time. And then everyone kind of forgets because of how incredible his career has been. But Steph Curry was like almost traded because his ankles were so bad that he could not play. Really, his first, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know exactly how long it went. But he almost got traded to New Orleans in the Chris Paul deal, which everyone sort of forgets that any of that happened.
Bro, I don't even remember that at all.
Yeah, I mean, they almost traded Chris Paul for Steph and Clay. That was like the deal that was on the table.
What?
Yeah,
How do I not remember this?
Because I was involved. Man.
That's so good.
Yeah, so Steph Curry had major ankle problems, did a ton of work. There's been a lot of stuff written about it. They came up with new methods and therapies and equipment and everything, and he really hasn't had that problem since. And he's a much stronger player than he was when he was 24, 25 years old. So Zion's issues are extremely unique. It's not to say it's impossible to put it past them, but it is very challenging to look at this guy, look at the way he plays, say there's any comp for him. And I think that's the big thing is everyone's like, oh, if you look at, guys who've been big in the NBA in the past, and Oliver Miller, Tractor Trailer, or whatever, it's like none of them played like Zion. Yeah. None of them. No one's ever played at the level he does and the physicality and athleticism that he plays with at his size. And it's just it's super unique, and what makes it so amazing to watch also probably is playing a role with why all this stuff takes longer than it's initially supposed to. And it just stinks. I think there have been problems with his rehab in the past, his attitude toward it. I don't think I've not heard that at all this go around. So I don't think that's, the issue. I just think this is a thing that is crappy.
Do you think he plays again in the regular season?
I don't. And that's just pure, I've seen this movie a lot, and show me where it's different. And until I see him on the court, I do not expect him to be back on the court. And that is literally not any inside information, anything like that. That is just me. If you're asking me to opine, that's how I opine.
What about postseason?
Yeah, I mean, if the season goes long enough, I think he was going to play last year if they had made another round. If they had beaten the Suns somehow, they were ramping it up for him to play. But again, the getting from 99% to 100% for him, getting he's going to play to he's actually playing seems to be a very large hurdle that this franchise has not been able to get to a lot of times. And so I do just remain cautious. Until he is ready to play, until he gets to that actual green light, I really struggle to expect him to play.
And that, my friends, is the voice of a man who's lived a very disappointing sports fan's existence. I mean, that is just awful. Really.
Get in a uniform, stand on the court, I will start to believe it. But it's I did believe it this time, and I think that's the part where I really did expect him to be playing by today, and he's not, and it's going to be at least another couple of weeks, and thankfully the All-Star break is one of those weeks. But it is just a tough spot, a tough situation for everybody involved.
Okay, well, that was exactly as I thought it would go. Not very uplifting at all, and just really a whole lot of reason to just not be optimistic.
Look, this team was a lot of fun last year when Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum were playing well. And they were good. They were a good team, and they can be a good team without Zion. So it's just they have a very clear ceiling to them. And with Zion, I don't think they have any ceiling. I think they can be as good as anybody in the league. And so that is the part that is no fun about this. But I don't think the Pelicans will be as depressing as they were during that 10-game losing streak. I don't think they're that bad anymore.
NOLA.com, the Polk and Kush podcast. He's Scott Kushner. If you want to be get in the mind of a really depressed sports fan, He's your guy. And you know what? Tennessee baseball season starts on Friday. Cannot wait to see Tennessee win a bunch of games and disappoint all of you in the postseason.
We couldn't possibly have that happen again, right? There's no way. We haven't won a College World Series game since Enron was still in business.
1 second, Enron. All right, thank you. If nothing else, good for the laughs. We appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, Matt, I'll talk to you.
All right, man. That's Scott Kushner. He said Enron. I'm trying to think who was on that Tennessee team. I don't even know.
That would have been 2001, right? So, I mean, Chris Burke probably on that team.
Was Burke there in 01?
Late in his career, I think, in 01, yeah.
Wow. I remember they had a team in the mid-90s. That was with Helton.
Todd Helton, yeah.
94, 95 maybe?
95 sounds
95?
right.
Yeah.
Enron was a hell of a drop. That's not where I thought he was going with that at all.
What a beauty. He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. That poor guy. I mean, he's just picked all the wrong teams to cheer for. Eventually, it's almost like Boston sports. Like Boston, they were just always losers. And then all of a sudden in the 2000s, everything worked. Belichick and Brady, the Red Sox break through and break the curse. I think they won some hockey titles, too. Did they win?
The Bruins.
The Bruins win some hockey titles. The Celtics won it in 08. It's like all of a sudden they just won everything. It's like, you know what? I don't want to hear you anymore. Maybe Kushner's ready for a breakthrough there. Maybe so. Look, they got so close this year with Josh Heupel and Hendon Hooker. And then, of course, that ended the way it did. The Tennessee baseball team. And then it ended the way it did.
Yeah.
The Tennessee basketball team got all the way up to 4th, didn't they?
Yeah.
And now they stink.
I mean, that's Rick Barnes, though. His teams do that often. Chris Burke was a junior in 2001 at Tennessee.
Junior in 01. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking Burke was a little bit older than that. Okay. All right. It's after further review. What was your favorite Super Bowl ad? You got to do that on Monday after the Super Bowl. Right? You got to talk about the commercials. We'll do that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Big shout out to our guys over at New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations. Of course, the New Orleans location in Metairie, and then the Prairieville location. So if you're in the greater Baton Rouge area, of course, if you're on Airline, you go south past the Walmart in Prairieville. It's on the right. You can't miss it. Blue sign. It's New Orleans Flooring. Online at NOLAflooring.com. Again, NOLAflooring.com. Highly recommend you use this cool function on their website. If you have trouble visualizing what your floors will look like, they have a function where you can snap a photo of your room, and they will show you what the flooring looks like with your new flooring in that room. Really cool. Go to the website. You can see it right there at NOLAflooring.com, NOLAflooring.com. Carpet, tile, hardwood, laminate, waterproof flooring. They got it all. And the best part about New Orleans Flooring is the pricing. I mean, the people are awesome. Don't misunderstand. But you're talking about cutting out the middleman, saving 50, 60% on flooring. It's New Orleans Flooring. NOLAflooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them. because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, good day. Glad you're with us here. I would assume most of you. By the way, we're going to spend a little bit of time in the next segment talking LSU men's and women's basketball. I'm curious, and this is going to be our poll question today, our Citizens Bank and Trust poll question on Twitter. Did you watch the LSU women's game against South Carolina? Just yes or no. And this is a little bit of market research because I'm curious. And I tell you all the time, I don't do the show for me, I do the show for you. I don't talk about what I want to talk about. I talk about what I think you all are talking about and find interesting. Now, a lot of times our interests align. And I'm curious if this women's team is getting to the point where I understand there's an increased level of interest and awareness in the team because they're 23-0 and they just played a 1-versus-3 game there in Columbia against South Carolina. But I'm curious how we did a poll in the studio. There's 4 of us in this room, and 3 of the 4 did not watch the game. So I'm curious how many people are just scoreboard watching and how many people are like really into the games and the team. So anyway, just a little. What they're doing is remarkable. No, I mean that's not even debatable, but just kind of my own sort of informal market research, trying to determine how much time that I should allocate for the show for things like that. So anyway, fire away, and if you don't have Twitter, you can email me or tweet me or text me, anything like that. 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Okay, Super Bowl ads. What was your favorite? Let's run through the ad meter. So USA Today does their Super Bowl ad meter every year. After the Super Bowl, it kind of lets you know the where the ads ranked, and so this is essentially on awareness and how much they landed. So 51 Super Bowl ads. When we started the show today, went around the room and I asked everybody their favorite. Muse, you said the farmer's dog was your favorite. No, I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't that one.
It was the Amazon.
It was the Amazon dog when that was one of my favorites.
Amazon dog, which was Saving Sawyer. Was the name of the ad. That finished 3rd. So that was the third most recognized ad. I just lost my place. My apologies. That was where the dog was started to chew up everything when I guess COVID ended and the family went back to work and school and all that stuff. And so the dog started acting out. And so you thought they were going to put the dog in a kennel, but they were actually bringing another dog home for the dog to play with another dog. Anyway. The #1 ad was the farmer's dog. This was the one where the dog was like, it starts with, you pull this up, Paulie. The dog's chasing the little girl around. He's playing. And I think this is one where they're all like laying in bed together at the end.
Yeah, the dog just like ages and ages and just keeps on going with them.
Yeah.
Because of the dog food.
The farmer's dog is the brand?
Yeah, it's a brand of dog food.
Did you know that dog food? I never heard of that dog food.
No, I learned
before.
about it last night.
Okay. Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Right? So it landed. Everyone remembered that one, so good for them. Number 2 was the NFL's ad. The NFL has done, this was the run with the flag football player. Avoiding the flags. The best part is when she goes to her house and her mom's like, give me a hug. And then the mom tries to grab the flag. I thought that was fantastic. A couple of years ago, of course, when the NFL did their 100-year Super Bowl ad was awesome. The NFL's ads have really hit. I mean, I don't know what necessarily good it is to promote the NFL when you're watching the NFL. You know what I mean? It's like you're here. I don't know why you need.
You have a 3-hour-long commercial.
Yes, but they've done very well. Number 3 was the one Muse mentioned, Amazon with the dog. Paulie, what did you say was your favorite Super Bowl ad?
The one with the Bud Light with Miles Teller and his wife dancing to the hold ringtone.
That was 6th. I wrote that one down as well. Where they're on hold, customer service, and he goes and gets a couple of Bud Lights. What is his wife famous?
I don't know. I didn't know who she was until last night. So I guess not.
So he just goes, grabs a couple of Bud Lights, and they just start dancing. It's very fun, playful, husband and wife, just, kind of drinking a beer, playing while they're on hold and everything. It was a good ad. It was a really good ad. Well done. The one that I thought was hilarious that didn't score among the tops. Here's the rest of the top 10. So Dunkin' Donuts, the drive-through with Ben Affleck,
I liked that one.
Was 4th.
That was good.
J-Lo at the end was pretty cool. Popcorners, the Breaking Good. It was the Breaking Bad. I never watched Breaking Bad.
Me either.
Paul, did you watch Breaking Bad ever?
I did not, but I got the commercial.
I knew what they were doing. I just didn't. So it didn't land for me. But again, I'm probably one of 5 humans that didn't watch Breaking Bad. Bud Light was 6. 7 was the T-Mobile Grease ad.
That was good.
There were several that sort of, I don't want to say spoofed, but played on movies. There was the Grease ad, there was the Caddyshack ad, and then there was Alicia Silverstone, the Clueless ad.
Yeah.
So, the John Travolta, which is pretty wild seeing Travolta bald with a beard, number 1. But 2, it was the guys from Scrubs as well were in the ad. So I thought that landed. I was a big fan of Scrubs back in the day, so I thought that did well. The Jesus ads were really good. Both of those were undeniably impressionable. So I don't know what they're necessarily promoting. Maybe it's just the website, but
that's what I kind of thought. Yeah,
but it was cool. Like you couldn't help but notice the Be Childlike with all the clips. That was good. Disney's 100 was 9, and then 10 was Workday, the rock star.
I liked that one. That one was cool.
Everybody says you're a rock star.
Yeah,
we do. Everyone always says that. They were like,
that was another one that kind of like nostalgia though, man. Because you had Ozzy in it. You had just a bunch of the old rock stars in it.
Kiss. Who else was in there?
It. Oh man, it doesn't say on the thing.
I'm looking at the ad.
You're
but
watching
it's
the
Kiss here at the start. It's Kiss. It's Ozzy and is it Pat Benatar?
It might have been. I think Joan Jett was in it as well.
Okay. Billy Idol was in there. Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. All right. Binky Dad was 11 from Kia.
I don't remember that one.
The dad, they get to their vacation and they forgot the Binky for the baby, so the dad's got to go get it, and then the news is following him and all. Yeah, it was.
I must have been getting a beer.
Google. Oh, the Fixed on Pixel was good. I thought. When it's like you for all these years you've had cell phones now, or you've taken pictures on cell phones. Now we fix them. Anyway. The other one that I thought was really good that didn't. The 2 that I thought were really good that didn't necessarily rate great. One was Bradley Cooper and his mom.
That was weird. I didn't like that one.
I just thought it was fun. It was like his mom was correcting him. It was a very relatable thing. I mean, Bradley Cooper's this sexiest man alive type deal, famous actor, all this stuff, and his mom's correcting him on how to act. It's your face, you're smiling, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. The Will Ferrell one as well. I thought was good. I mean, anything Will Ferrell I think is going to make me laugh. That rated 13th, so not terrible, but wasn't around near the top. And the other one, I think I'm going to have to scroll down far to find it. I thought the electric vehicle one that was like the ED ad. So the T-Mobile with Bradley Cooper was 25th. Where is it? Did I pass it? I might have passed it already. You know what I'm talking about? The electric
There
vehicle.
There were a couple EV ads last night, weren't there?
Yes, but I'm talking about the one specifically that was set up like an ED commercial. It was like
I might have missed that one.
Oh man, so I thought it was funny, and I'm trying to find where it is on this ranking. And my apologies, y'all. I hate to do this live, but I scrolled past it somewhere.
Was that it right there?
Here it is, 22. So it finished 22, so middle of the pack. But they set it up. It looked like an ad for a medicine, and they set it up like it was an ED med, but it was for like lack of electrification, and
that's pretty good. I like that
premature electrification. It was good. It was good. There was a lot of double entendre mixed in, and if young kids probably didn't get it, adults would, and I thought it was good. I thought it would do better than this, but anyway, so. Overall, the Sarah McLachlan.
That one I thought was awesome. I thought Bush did a great job with that. By the way, that dog is actually a wolf. It was that commercial was so good. And talk about relatable, because everybody's like, oh gosh, here's Sarah McLachlan talking about abused animals.
I know, man, it's so good. The Ben Stiller Pepsi Zero Sugar
with Steve Martin.
Yeah, well, there was another one with Steve Martin. They had one with Ben. One with Ben Stiller, one with Steve Martin. It was the same ad, just with both of them. The Snoop Skechers ad.
The Uber ad with Diddy, and that was strange. I didn't know what they were.
It didn't do well.
I didn't know what they were advertising until the very end. I was like, what is this about?
32nd out of 51. The one hit for Uber. The Clueless ad was 31st.
I thought that would have done better.
And then the Caddyshack one didn't do well either.
I thought that would have done better too.
That was 28th. I say shouldn't have done. I mean, bottom half. 51 ads. It was 28th. So. Anyway, you had star power in that. You playing the Kenny Loggins song. You had Bushwood. So anyway, overall, I'll say it again. We talked about it a bit when we started the show. I thought the whole Super Bowl experience yesterday landed. It doesn't always, but I thought yesterday it did. The game was great. Went right down to the end. I thought everything from Johnny Cash with the ragged old flag at the beginning, that the way that they sort of did that, the Babyface doing God Bless America, Stapleton's anthem, Rihanna's halftime show, the ads, the game. It all landed. I mean, I thought it was just really a great full day of theater. So tip of the cap to the NFL and everyone involved. I thought it went really well. So let me know if there was one that you liked that we missed. I guess I should point out, dead last, the worst rated ad was U2 Akchung Baby Live at the Sphere. I guess that they were promoting maybe a U2 show. That was last. Second to last was the Shop Like a Billionaire ad for Temu, and this M&M's, the with Maya Rudolph, the clams.
Mm-hmm.
That was the third worst of all of them. So, and then Serena with Remy Martin.
I felt like Serena was in like 4 commercials last night.
She was in the Remy Martin ad, which did not score well, although I liked that ad. And then she was also in the Bushwood.
The Caddyshack
one. The Caddyshack one, which I don't even remember what the Caddyshack ad was for now.
Michelob Ultra.
Okay, there you go. That's the tough part when you remember the ad, but you don't remember what the ad was
for.
Like, yes, you got people to remember it, but did it really work?
Because you want them to remember the product and service.
Yeah. What about the avocados from Mexico, the Adam and Eve thing?
I found that strange. I did. I mean, I guess it was cool. I don't know.
It had Anna Faris in it.
It did have Anna Faris in it.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. But I don't know. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going out and getting a bunch of avocados from Mexico right now. It's
branding. It's a branding play. All right, so Super Bowl ad meter. Again, your winner was the what did we say the winner was? The most recognized ad
the dog food one, the farmer's dog.
Yeah, farmer's dog, dog food ad. Pets. You can never go wrong with pets, man. You can never go wrong with animals for some reason. They always, like remember back in the day, Budweiser with the Clydesdales and the Dalmatian puppy riding in on the thing. I mean, it's a tearjerker. Yeah, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong with animals. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break. When we come back, we'll spend a little time talking about the LSU men and women's basketball teams. Both lose over the weekend, both in very different spots, however, after their losses. We'll chat about that a bit when we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. What did you say? I said all you can eat wings. You pay one low price, you eat as many wings as you want all night long. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Now, remember, the all-you-can-eat wings is only good if you're dining in, I should mention. But it's a great night to dine in because you've got the Pelicans. The Pelicans are at the Thunder tonight. So, 7 o'clock tip, knock off work, get by Pluckers, bring some buddies, start eating some wings, stay there till tip at 7. The game will end around 9:30 or so. Eat some wings, drink some beers, have a good time at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Of course, it's worth reminding you, LSU baseball season right around the bend. You're going to be watching the Tigers all season long. Make Pluckers part of your voyage out to the box before or after any LSU baseball game all season long. That the Nicholson location is just south of the box. It's Pluckers if you like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corval Toyota family to yours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, I'm going to move quickly here. Got to get the Tigers and the pros in just a little bit, and we will reset some of the big stories today. Super Bowl 57. Also, Derek Carr rejects a Saints trade offer. It's a LSU baseball game week, so we will get some of that coming up in hour number 3 as well. I want to spend a quick minute here talking about what happened on the hardwood over the weekend. LSU men's team on Saturday lost for the 12th consecutive time. And y'all, this, for the first half, it was brutal. LSU was down 24 at half. It was 41-17, and I regrettably was watching the bulk of this. Man, there was I'm pulling up the box score so I can tell you specifically when this happened, but LSU was stuck on 7 points until the 7:30 mark of the first half. Cam Hayes made a three at the 7:23 mark. Excuse me, so the 7:23 mark. Cam Hayes made a three at the 7:23 mark to get LSU into double digits. They were sitting on 7 points for the first 13 minutes of this ball game. I don't. Here's the thing. I get it. There's no way I can continue talking about the games for this LSU men's basketball team anymore. They're going to have a chance to win coming up. They're going to play South Carolina. They're going to play Ole Miss. They're going to play Vandy. Although Vandy has managed to push their record to 6-6. And South Carolina almost played a pillow fight this last weekend. South Carolina won, so both those teams are 2 conference wins. LSU gets those 3 coming up after they play Georgia, which Georgia just beat Kentucky, and you got to go on the road and play. But you got a shot to win coming up, which we knew if you could make it through and ultimately get to that point. I hope they do. I hope they do win again, obviously. But this team they're just atrocious. And I don't think it's for lack of effort or anything of that sort. They're just incapable of scoring. And you watch them and they move the basketball and they get open looks and they just can't make their open looks. They don't have scoring on this team. I will completely commend LSU for after being embarrassed in that first half, coming out in the second half and really giving an incredible effort. And so for those that ask, has McMahon lost the team? Have they quit? Anything like that? No, it's evidenced by the fact that they were down 41-17 at half and came out and scored 45 points in the second half. Outscored A&M 45-33 in the second half. You got it close to, I think they got it within 10. I mean, they're trying. They're just not good. So for me right now, I think the most interesting part is, like to look at a guy like, Terrell Ward, who's starting to get more minutes. Freshman out of D.C., you're starting to look at some of these guys, with Reed and Phillips playing more minutes. Reed played 12 minutes, scored 3 points, 1 or 2 from the floor. Like, that's kind of what I want to see now, is I understand that this team is what it is, and very likely your roster is going to be remade again after this season. So is there anything there from the young guys that you see potential that can grow and develop and prosper and blossom into what you hope will come in the future? I'll remind you, the last year under Johnny Jones, LSU was a 2-win team in the SEC. It was the worst year LSU had in 50 seasons. And I could go back to John Brady's first year, which we've talked about, when he inherited a team on sanctions in 1997. And then 3 years later, they won the SEC. I mentioned that team that was, that won 2 conference games in the last year under Johnny Jones, year 2 under Will Wade. So 2 seasons later, they'd won the SEC. So in college basketball, you can turn it around very quickly. It's possible. It's the sport where it is most likely, because a player, a transcendent player or 2 can immediately make you a contender. And so the challenge for Matt McMahon is going to be finding those players and selling them on whatever his vision is here at LSU amid a really tough circumstance. But I can't sit here and break down the LSU Texas A&M game, because quite honestly, I don't think you care, and it's the same old song and dance every game. They'll keep running it out there, and they'll try to win, and they'll have a chance coming up here against teams that are more punching at their own weight. But the thing that I'll tell you that seems pretty obvious when you watch this team play, they're trying. They're giving effort. They're playing hard. They're just not good. The Lady Tigers, or the women's basketball team, I should say. I don't think they call them the Lady Tigers anymore. They had a little bit of a different scenario on Sunday, because they were undefeated at 23-0. They were 11-0 in the SEC, and they went up to Columbia, South Carolina to play the number 1 Gamecocks, the defending national champs. And this was going to really tell the story. And it told you what you needed to know. A lot of people had asked, did I think LSU would win that game? It didn't. You had South Carolina's undivided attention. You had to go play in Columbia. It was a sold-out game, and there was a lot of anticipation around that game for South Carolina. And when you're a team that dominates everybody, it's rare that you're going to get a team like that to lock in. And South Carolina was locked in, and they played great, and they won. No surprise. For me, I think it's going to be more interesting to see what happens if LSU and South Carolina meet again on a neutral site, like maybe in the Final Four, which I think is possible for this LSU team. They'll probably be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and their path will go through Baton Rouge, and it did a year ago, and they won one game and then were bounced. But I think this team's a little more equipped. So let's see if they get a rematch. What that might look like in a rematch on a neutral site somewhere down the line. Kim Mulkey raved about South Carolina, and you can understand why. Here's what she said about Dawn Staley's squad after the game.
It's South Carolina and everybody else. It's South Carolina and everybody else. They have too much talent. They have too much depth. They have too much size. They have everything they need. They have experience. They don't get rattled. You score, you cut the lead, you make a run, and boom, they come right back at you.
I mean, that's essentially what happened. It was never really a game. South Carolina flexed its muscle from the onset and never relented. Dawn Staley, however, was asked about Kim Mulkey and sort of being ahead of schedule at Baton Rouge.
We all know, what Kim is great at. I mean, she gets quality players. I mean, she's got the best transfer player in Angel Reese. She got LaDeja. I mean, she put together a really great team, and she's coaching them up. She put together the number 1 recruiting class for 2023. So she knows what it takes. I mean, she's well ahead of the schedule, when it comes to making LSU a national powerhouse.
That is Dawn Staley. I'm going to pivot here really quickly because I just saw this from Kendall Rogers. It's a little breaking news about LSU baseball, and it is not good at all. Do you want to do the breaking news sounder? I know you don't. It's cool if you have it. So Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, tweeting just right now. Grant Taylor, he puts a projected weekend starter and the number 15 prospect in the 2023 MLB draft class by D1 Baseball. Will miss the 2023 season because of a UCL injury. He writes, LSU clearly has depth, but Taylor had an incredible fall. So that's from Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Looks like Grant Taylor going to be shelved for this season. Grant Taylor was not going to be a starter, a weekend starter. At least I don't believe that was going to be his role this year. But now he'll focus on what is next, and that is getting healthy and getting back, hopefully, for 2024. All right, it's after further review. Let me react to that a bit more coming up here. Usually have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan injury attorneys. If you saw, Gordon had the Super Bowl ad with, of course, Kim Mulkey. I thought they did an awesome job with it. You saw some of the teasers that they put out there last week, which I thought was really, really a good job of the two of them in their sequined jackets preparing for the ad. But a great job with Gordon, with Kim Mulkey for the Super Bowl ad. And they also, of course, paid homage to those that entered the Get Gordon Dance Challenge. Just having a ton of fun with the whole thing. So our tip of the cap to Kim Mulkey and to Gordon for the great Super Bowl ad. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, helping injured people in our state for more than 30 years. If you've been injured, you need representation. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Or call them at 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brady Bolin said, Matt, are we just going to ignore the Tubi ad commercial that everyone thinking their wife or kids was changing the channel? I didn't think the channel had changed. I didn't.
Oh, it got me. No, it got me.
I didn't fall for it at all. Like, I was surprised to see this general reaction from a lot of people.
I mean, whenever they had Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen come back on, I'm like, okay, this is obviously a commercial. That's not how you come back to a football game. But then I thought somebody screwed up the commercial and sat on the remote. Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe I know too much about the inner workings of how a break schedule or ad schedule would run the game. Whatever. I didn't. But yeah, I guess I get it. Yeah, a lot of people mention that as well. So I got to go back and see how that one scored. But yeah, I didn't fall for that one. So I'm not saying like yay me or anything. That's why probably why I just didn't register. Anyway, all right, we're short on time. Muso, Tigers and the Pros.
I'd been served a good bit by that time in the Super Bowl.
Tigers and the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Yeah. Try again, Muse. Nobody heard you.
Well, no, I was just saying I had been served a good bit by that time in the Super Bowl as well, so that could be another contributing factor.
I'll find where to be ranked. Go ahead.
Okay, well, wait, I need you for this real quick. Okay. We talked about it earlier, but I figured we'd give Matt one more chance to yell. Clyde won a Super Bowl, y'all. Completed the trifecta, state championship, national championship, and now a Super Bowl championship for Clyde. We'll see. Going to be a lot of questions, I think, surrounding his future in Kansas City this offseason. No doubt, if it's in KC or wherever, he'll land on his feet and contribute to a team and be a big part of their future success. Cam Thomas. No. He did play 18 minutes for the Nets on Saturday, 7 for 12 for 14 points. pretty solid night. He didn't get to the free throw line, which is shocking because he lives at the free throw line. 2 assists and a rebound. The Nets are back on the floor tonight when they visit the New York Knicks. The Houston Rockets and Tari Eason, they will visit the Philadelphia 76ers. That's a 6 p.m. tip-off from Philly Wells Fargo Center. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're in action against Dallas for a 7:30 tip at American Airlines Center. And the Blazers host the Lakers, so keep an eye out for Trenton Watford. That's your late tip. Golf recap for you. Sam Burns tied for 6th. That's his final at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. 11 under par. Finished birdie on 17 and 18 yesterday. Took home just north of $650,000. On the Korn Ferry Tour. I don't like when people say it that way. Curtis Thompson.
That's not how you say it.
It's not. Finished tied for 28th on the Korn Ferry Tour. Took home $6,700. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Like, it's literally tomorrow. Don't screw it up. Go to Lee Michaels. Get her something nice. They'll help you. You get the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. Been through this so many times, and I'm actually loving to start to hear how many of you have called Mold Zero. You've reached out to Jim Woodworth and the gang. You've gotten that free estimate. I think a lot of people, when you deal with mold or odor, obviously we all understand the severity of mold and the potential health risks of it. But also people aren't necessarily sure what to do because it's just not something we all deal with all the time. Well, Mold Zero gives you that solution, that easy solution. You're not cutting sheetrock and pulling out insulation. If you have mold in your house or odors or something you're just not sure, call Mold Zero. They'll come out, they'll check it out. Remember, it's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. They come in, they spray. You don't have to move furniture or anything out. It's totally safe. As soon as the fog dissipates, you go back in completely mold-free, clean smelling home. It's Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. The city parish is having to answer some tough questions after workers tore down the property belonging to a man who says the house was left to him by his mom. He says he paid the necessary fines to stop the process, even though the house was placed on the city's blight list. The demolition opening up new pain for one family. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call Hudco Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Corval Toyota in Opelousas is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corval Toyota family to yours.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. No plans to ride off into the sunset just yet for Chiefs coach Andy Reid after a second Super Bowl championship in 4 years. Considering what the future looks like for Kansas City, Reid more than happy to return in 2023.
The organization that Clark Hunt's put together has been tremendous. The coaching staff, the players, it's a good, solid organization. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I've got this guy over here that is a pretty good player. So, I mean, we're doing okay.
Andy Reid, this guy, of course, would be quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The Super Bowl 57 MVP will join Canty and Carlin in 20 minutes. NBA Lakers LeBron James, with that sore left ankle, will be out a third straight game tonight against the Trailblazers. Major League Baseball unanimously voted to make the extra inning automatic runner on second base rule permanent in all regular season games going forward. Alabama is number one in the Associated Press Top 25 men's college basketball poll for the first time in 20 years. Houston is at number 2, with Purdue at number 3.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier to help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We'll get some Otter Locks later this hour, and we will sort of reset some of the big stories of the day. We're going to switch the rundown up a little bit because with the breaking news from Kendall Rogers, we'll get to that. By the way, I have to give a huge hat tip to the Yacht Father, Jimmy Yacht. I tell you often, it's worth listening to Jimmy, especially on Fridays, because that's generally when you get like his Cappers recap, the best bets for the week from all of these professional handicappers. Muse, get a load of this, okay? So here were the bets, props, all included that Otter and his band of merry gamblers gave out. Eagles to score first.
That happened, yep.
Now, no score in the first 6 minutes was on there. I got it at DraftKings, no score in the first 5 minutes, and we came about 16 seconds away. So that one did not hit. Successful 2-point conversion.
That happened.
Jalen Hurts to convert a 4th down.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts and Goddard, their props to score the first touchdown of the game. Hurts hit at plus 650, by the way. Goddard was at, I think, plus 1250 or something like that. So thank God for replay, because it took the initial touchdown off the board. They spotted the ball to 1 and then Hurt scored, but that hit. And the other big one was Philly scores first. The prop was Philly scores first and Kansas City wins the game at plus 650.
That happened too.
Your boy had a nice night.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It was fun watching. Just ding every time. Ding. Every one of those hitting the bell was great. I did not play this one, but this is another one he gave, was Kansas City committing the first turnover, which obviously that did not happen, as it was the Eagles committing the first turnover of the game. But so that would have been, well, I'm going to tell you, man, just considering the odds you get for a lot of those prop bets, man, it was a very, very, very successful night. So we'll let the Otter take his victory lap a little later this hour. All right. It is LSU baseball game week, and if you didn't hear in the last segment, our buddy Kendall Rogers over at D1 Baseball broke the news. Grant Taylor, torn UCL. He is going to miss the season. Now, the thing about Kendall's tweet, he notes, Grant Taylor, a projected weekend starter and the number 15 prospect in the 2023 MLB draft class by D1 Baseball, will miss the 2023 season because of a UCL injury. He notes LSU clearly has depth, but Taylor had an incredible fall. The other thing that Kendall Rogers also noted was, and so he came back and said, just to clarify, he says situations can change, but was told Grant Taylor plans to definitely return to LSU baseball next season. He writes that's a silver lining, I guess, in an otherwise rotten situation. So Grant Taylor will be out this year. Obviously had a nice freshman season and was expected to be counted on in a big way this year. Muse, have you've gone out to the scrimmages and all? Have we seen Grant Taylor much in a starting role in these scrimmages yet?
A couple of them, but he's always starting opposite of Paul Skeens. If it wasn't starting opposite on the other team, if you want to say that, it was normally the first guy behind Paul Skeens coming out of the pen.
And so I'm not trying to push back on Kendall's report, but look, I mean, we've talked about this for several weeks now. The hope was he would emerge as the closer. I mean, that was, a lot can happen over the course of a season. Like, I'm not guessing, I'm telling you, that was internally their hope, was like, you'd have Skeens and Thatcher Hurd and who probably Floyd as your first three. Christian Little, of course. You got other guys that could be a starting pitcher. But the hope was this big dude coming out, chucking the ball, 100 to finish games was their hope, and how that it would transpire for Taylor. I don't know how you feel about it. Like, I don't think we're going to see him in a starting role this year.
Not on this team. That's the thing. Not on this team.
And I don't know that. I think we talked about this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. I get that every pitcher that comes to LSU, when they were in high school, they were the dude. Like, you're the dude, and you're a starter, and you're the guy. Not everybody, though, projects as a starter at the next level, but everybody Oh, that's right, because we talked about Ben Joyce.
Yeah.
So I mean, the point being, Ben Joyce from Tennessee threw 104 last year and was a third-round pick. There are some guys that are going to close. Look, Zach Hess is a good example of that, who can go higher in the draft. But by and large, the guys that are going to go at the top of the draft are starting pitchers. So that's why everybody wants to be a starting pitcher, obviously, not a closer. But sometimes you fit into whatever role is best for you. And I think that was the hope for Grant Taylor this year, that he would end up being the closer. Now, Grant Taylor on the shelf, what do you think that means based on what you've seen going out to the scrimmages? What do you think that means for the back of the bullpen?
I think you could potentially see a guy like Riley Cooper maybe start out in that role of veteran presence and a guy who can do it multiple times in a weekend. I think that's an interesting option also from the left side. And, Matt, I think a guy like Garrett Edwards maybe potentially there. The uptick in velocity, big guy, obviously, 6'5", kind of a bit of a herky-jerky motion as well. It's been really good in 1 to 2 inning spurts so far in the scrimmages, and a veteran presence. I mean, those are the first two names I would say. If you want to get crazy, Chase Shores, but I think he's going to end up in the rotation at some point.
This year?
Yeah. I don't think you can keep him out. But this could potentially change that. I mean, if he grabs hold of the starter role, the closer role, you don't move him because he throws 100.
Are you counting the rotation also with being a midweek starter?
I think that's where he starts the season there, but then I think he moves into the weekend.
I guess I'm trying to think back. I remember like Aaron Nola's freshman year.
2012.
He was, I think his first start was at Tulane, if I'm not mistaken. It was a late season, game where he not late season. It was a midweek game later in the season, and he got the start against Tulane. And I think pitched like 7 innings.
8.
Yeah, it was
shutout.
Yeah, it
8
was awesome.
shutout innings.
Yeah. And then by the end of that season, worked his way into the rotation. Maybe that could happen. I think someone would have to falter though for that to happen. For sure. But anyway, we'll see. When Jay Johnson, can you see if you could find the cut from his media day about the closer role? Because he mentioned like 6 names. I mean, everyone from like Bryce Collins to Riley Cooper. He did mention Grant Taylor. Garrett Edwards is interesting. And listen, let's be clear. Also having a closer at this level, like a guy who is your set-in-stone closer, that's a luxury for a lot of teams that not every team has. And I think that's why Jay was hoping that Grant Taylor could maybe emerge into that role. You have it? Okay, this was a couple of Fridays ago at the LSU Baseball Media Day when Jay Johnson was asked specifically about the closer role.
Not prepared to answer that just yet in a good way, because there's guys that can do it. I don't think I mentioned him earlier. Bryce Collins has made a massive jump forward. Massive. Not to say that he won't start or be in different situations. Looks great. Christian Little, mentioned Chase Shores. One of our best guys is going to come out of the pen. It's always the way I've operated my teams. And so I would say probably not Paul Skeens, but literally if it was Thatcher Hurd, Ty Floyd, Grant Taylor, and any of those guys I just mentioned, Aiden Moffitt eventually is going to be good enough to do that at a really, really high level. It'll just be a timing thing. Nate Ackenhausen, Riley Cooper, both from the left side. Excited. The next 18 days, we'll start looking at that, and then obviously it'll probably change throughout the year. It's nice to have options.
So I said 6. He actually mentioned 9 names there. He mentioned Collins, Little, Shores, Hurd, Floyd, Taylor, Moffitt, Ackenhausen, and Cooper. I mean, so it's definitely not a set-in-stone thing. And they have a lot of options, and that's the good thing. When you have this many arms, you're trying to figure out a way to get all these guys innings, well, it's a good problem to have. So you'll have options at the end of the game, and you'll see who emerges. But we'll start to get those answers on Friday. LSU baseball will open up the season. I'll remind you again, we'll be out at Tallulah inside the Renaissance. So take me out to Tallulah this Friday for the LSU baseball opener. If you're not going to be at the box, come hang out with us. Tallulah, the restaurant bar inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. We're going to have a great time there, so make sure you come join us this Friday at Tallulah for the LSU baseball game. That'll be the game on big projection screens. Taylor Calandro will be out there with whiskey samples. Rally Cap will be out there with craft beer samples. They'll have food and drink specials as well. So come join us Friday for the LSU season opener. Take me out to Tallulah. We're looking forward to being there. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll jump back into some of the reaction from Super Bowl 57 and a lot of your emails and texts and tweets. All that's coming up as well. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. When you're driving around, I want you to really try to take notice of this. If you're on I-10, if you're going down Airline Highway, Highland Road, Burbank, any of the major arteries, or even through your neighborhood, keep an eye out for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You'll start to notice how many River City's 1 Hour Air vans you see all over town. Because for 40 years, they've treated people great. They perform great work, exceptional customer service at a fair price. And when you do that, and you get the amount of Google reviews that they have, it's easy to see why they're the leader in the HVAC industry in Baton Rouge. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. If your heater, your AC isn't keeping up in this time of year, based on what time of day it is, you might need both. River City's 1 Hour Air can help. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Toyota in Appalachia Lucis is here to help you ring in the new year with no markups, and you'll never pay over MSRP. And we have new inventory arriving daily. So Happy New Year from our Corvell Toyota family to yours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Moon Griffon is back, the voice of Louisiana politics.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congratulations to Donald Ewing of Jackson, Louisiana. Donald is our local winner in the 104.5 ESPN Big Game Contest, presented by Heineken Silver. Donald won $3,835 cash. Thanks again to all who participated in the Big Game Contest presented by Heineken Silver.
We have anything else there on Donald? So what do you have to do? He had to guess the score or something like that? He was the closest?
Well, yeah, the way they did it for the local, that was like the big national one. For the local one we selected, they drew, you were entered in that. If they drew your name, you won what the final score was. So the final score was 38-35.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, how about that? You got $3,835.
Attaboy, Donald.
That's pretty good, right?
That is pretty good.
Good night.
My goodness. Thank God we didn't do that for the Saints Browns game.
Oh, that stunk.
It won $10.
Yeah.
Or would have been 100. Wasn't it 10-0? Wasn't it the final 10-0?
No. That was like 17-10, wasn't it? Something like that.
17-10?
Yeah. So it had won $1,710.
Well, that ain't bad.
That's not too bad.
So the Panthers game was 10-7.
Yeah, that would have stunk.
So he would have won $107?
I guess so.
Oh, that sucks. Way better this way. Congrats, Tom. 38-35. All right. Shout out Flynn Foster.
Yeah. Writing the checks,
Writing the check. Here you go, Don. 38. Does he know he's writing that check?
He does now, I guess. I mean,
All right, it's after further review. Thanks to everybody who played. Of course, you can always go play along with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Tell you all the time, use the promo code Baton Rouge. This week, flipping over NBA action. You can be a part of it. DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Right now, new customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any pregame moneyline bet. Get $150 in free bets if your team wins. So, get into the NBA action right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, new customers, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA game. If you win, they'll give you $150 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Do you have the new disclaimer? You do? Okay, hit it, Muse. All right. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. Opt-in required. One free bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. Babe, you see? Now and again. You don't make me sound like a chipmunk. Appreciate that. The odds, DraftKings has the odds out for next year's Super Bowl. Your reigning champs, the Chiefs, have the best odds at plus 600, followed by the San Francisco 49ers. Here we go at plus 800. The Bengals, Joey B and the boys at plus 900. Excuse me, I actually screwed this up. So, because they don't go vertical, they go across. So, Chiefs at plus 600, Bills at plus 700, Niners plus 800, Eagles, Bengals plus 900, then the Dallas Cowboys plus 1,400, then you get into the plus 2,000. Ravens, Chargers, the Jets at plus 2,800. You think they're banking? I mean, does Vegas putting the Jets at plus 2,800 essentially tell you they're expecting Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of the Jets next year? I mean, there's no other explanation for that. Or maybe it's just the unknown. You know what else is odd? If you're wondering, the Denver Broncos, their Super Bowl odds did not change after they signed Sean Payton or traded for Sean Payton. Still at plus 3,000. So same odds as the Packers, the Dolphins, and the Lions. If you're wondering about the Saints are at plus 5,000, about what you would expect. But still, the Saints at plus 5,000, best odds in the NFC South. Panthers at plus 5,500, Bucks at plus 6,000, and the Falcons at plus 7,500. So even with the Saints having very long Super Bowl odds, still the best odds of any team in the division, which on one hand is encouraging, also very telling. It's, man, you know, one of the stories of the day that we followed here today is the report about Derek Carr and the Saints. And, you know, I'm curious. I'm curious how a Derek Carr deal is going to be received. Not a car deal, but give me the rim shot. I need the button. I got to have the button here. I got to have it. So if you missed it today, Rappaport was on the Pat McAfee show, and the report that came out over the weekend is that Derek Carr nixed any trades. He has a no-trade clause, which he will not waive. So Derek Carr will not accept a trade to any team, including the Saints. But apparently the Saints were the only team who had the framework of a deal in place to do a deal with the Raiders, which in and of itself makes me question Mickey Loomis in the front office, that they're the only team that was willing to give up assets to take on an aging quarterback, an aging, declining quarterback with a massive contract, which tells you how irresponsible and misguided the Saints front office is at this point. But here was Rappaport today on the McAfee show.
With Derek Carr said to be a free agent, you know, had he been traded, which he's not going to be now, he would have been the first domino. Now, I think there are some teams, you know, and I know the Saints are still interested. I know he's still interested in them. Now, when he's a free agent, he could potentially just negotiate his own new contract with the Saints, not have to worry about his old contract.
Hold on, doesn't he want $40 million? He's not going to get $40 million on the open market, is he?
I don't think so, but it wasn't $40 million. It was $40 million guaranteed, spread out over 2 years. So it was $33 this year. Now, might he get a little less than that? I think that's possible, but free agency sometimes dictates different things than what we expect, so we'll see what the market is.
For what it's worth, there's no way definitively to know what the market's going to be until a player hits the open market, and then we see exactly what the market's willing to bear. But there's a website, if you're not familiar, called Spotrac, which basically it's a database website that keeps track of contracts for professional athletes in all sports. So, and they also have a section for market value. So they look at a player, his career earnings, his production, all that sort of stuff, and they calculate that player's market value. So for Derek Carr, they calculate Derek Carr's market value right now at $37.7 million, saying that's fair market value for Derek Carr. I'm here to say that essentially a 3-year deal as they play it out at $113 million which would make him the 9th highest ranked quarterback in the NFL. And they're saying that's the market value for Derek Carr. I'm here to say if the Saints give Derek Carr, 32-year-old Derek Carr, a 3-year, $113 million contract, they need to shut the doors on Airline Highway. Like, board it up. What are you doing? I mean, again, I'm not trying to disparage Derek Carr. I still think Derek Carr is a vastly superior option to what you have presently. But you're not winning a championship with Derek Carr at this point of his career with this Saints team. If you were to take Derek Carr, and if Derek Carr became the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers could win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr. I have no doubt of that. I mean, they almost got there with a revolving door of Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy. 32-year-old Derek Carr would most certainly have them there. The Saints aren't close. And so if you're going to invest that, when you're $55 million over the salary cap, you're going to have to restructure deals. You're going to have to go into the same, purgatory that you're in, perpetually. Why would you exacerbate that problem with Derek Carr? It's this horrible tug of war that you have as a fan, and I'm sure that they're having in the front office right now, which is, do you try to win now? Do you keep trying to push forward to win, or do you accept you got to be bad before you can get good again? And I think most fans and tell me if you disagree. Like, I don't know that you all agree with me on this, but I think generally the perspective on this team is you're going to have to get worse before you can get better. You're going to have to say, I'm going to get younger. I'm going to use my draft picks. I'm going to try to hit on those draft picks and get better with my young talent, as opposed to continue trying to sludge forward in this, reworking deals, restructuring contracts, trying to bring in veterans you can't afford that ultimately are going to leave you vulnerable. And it's just where the Saints are right now. Look, but then we just talk about it, the division's terrible. The division's terrible. The Saints are the favorite to win the division. And we all know it. If you get in the playoffs, you win your division, and you get a home playoff game. You find a way to win a couple of games in January, and you're in the Super Bowl. So that's the tantalizing thing. Because you play in this awful division circumstantially, you're still very close. You are realistically very close to being in the postseason and potentially making a run. We saw the Giants win a Super Bowl and beat the undefeated Patriots on a year where they were 9-7. So is it possible? Sure. Is that the best path forward for sustained success? I don't think so. And I think most of you probably agree with me on that. So we'll know. Listen, we'll know by the middle of this week. The Raiders are going to cut Derek Carr. He'll be a free agent. We'll see what the market is. There's a lot of quarterback needy teams, but a lot of those teams, like the Texans, like the Colts, are like the Panthers, are very likely to find their quarterback not in free agency by paying Derek Carr a lot, but in the draft. And they'll see if they hit on their players. And so the true market for Derek Carr is going to be what NFL teams that need a starting quarterback are willing to pay Derek Carr. It's very clear there was no market for him via trade. I mean, the Saints were the only team that were willing to do a trade deal with the Raiders. What about with him as a free agent quarterback? What is the market for him? And I think there's probably the list we ran through earlier, 9 or 10 teams that are going to be looking for a starting quarterback. But the majority of those are likely going to find their option through the draft. So what does that mean for, or like if you say there's the 9 teams, well, one of them's the Raiders. He's obviously not going to the Raiders. One of them's the Jets. What if Aaron Rodgers goes there? If the Packers then lose Aaron Rodgers, well, then they've got their guy in Jordan Love. So that 9 now becomes 6. If you look at the Texans, the Colts, the Panthers, if they're all drafting quarterbacks at the top of the draft, well, 6 now becomes 3. So, and then there's other teams that are going to use high draft picks for a quarterback. So, is it like the Saints and the Bucks, maybe the Jets or Packers? We'll see. But I just don't think the market is going to be super robust for Derek Carr, and you should hopefully be able to get him at a more approachable price than $37 million per year. All right. Let me know your thoughts. You can always get them in. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states. You know where to find them online or at any of their locations. Their precision measurement device calibration labs. They spent all of 2022 expanding their square footage for their precision measurement device calibration labs, mobile labs as well. So if you have equipment that needs to be calibrated, measurement equipment that needs to be calibrated that can't leave your facility, easy. Call Michelli. They'll bring their mobile labs on site, calibrate your devices, and be on their way. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, our nation's largest distributor of scales, 76 years in business. Call up Joel McMullen, the whole gang over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement, or look them up online. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement online at Michelli.com, Michelli.com. And they are hiring a great veteran workforce program that they have for members of the military who are looking for that next step in their professional lives. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement online. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, let's have to further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. And Otter coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll let you hear some more from the Chiefs, from the Eagles, and also David Griffin talking about Zion's injury, as the Pels are back on the floor tonight in Kansas City. If you missed it, an hour or two, we talked to Scott Kushner of the New Orleans Advocate, NOLA.com. So if you want to go back and catch that conversation, you can online or on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We'll knock out a quick break and continue on AFR.
AFR.
Again, another reminder, y'all. Friday, opening day at the Box. If you're not going to be at the Box, no worries. Come hang out with us at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. We're calling it Take Me Out to Tallulah. They've done an awesome job putting this event together. And I can tell you this, that Rally Cap Brewing will be there with free samples. And Taylor Calandro is coming by with 2 allocated whiskey bottles. He's got a Willet Purple Top and a Michter's 10-year rye. If you're a whiskey nerd, you know what I'm talking about. They will be giving away free samples of Willet Purple Top and Willet 10-year rye. So come hang out. They're calling it, look, it's bourbon, beer, burgers, and baseball. A food and drink at discounted prices inside of Tallulah. On Friday, they'll have 2 projection screen TVs showing the game. I'll be there as soon as AFR ends. We hope a lot of y'all come hang out. I'm going to bring some Hudco hats as well. Be slanging those things. Come hang out with us. Take me out to Tallulah this Friday inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $8,500 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. New 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $8,500 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right. Bayou.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So earlier we were talking about the Super Bowl ads and the USA Today ad meters. It ranks the effectiveness of the Super Bowl ads, and the top ad was the Farmer's Dog commercial. Eric Taylor sent a text that said, Matt, are you a dog owner or fan? I definitely don't see you as a cat person, but I feel like dogs are too disordered for your taste. What the hell does that mean? Dogs are too disordered for your taste? I literally don't even know what that means. That dogs are too disordered for your taste. So I'm definitely a dog person. I love animals. I love pets. I'm good with pets. Neighbor has a cat. They just moved in. Cat walks over, comes through the fence, jumps up on the counter at the outdoor kitchen, came snuggled up right next to me. I was smoking a cigar. Cat's name is Winston. Petting Winston. I'm like, hi, Winston. Winston knows I'm friendly. I love dogs. Had 2 boxers. Erica had a little Maltese when we got married. But what does that even mean? Disordered for your taste. By the way, welcome to Jacob Beck. You can open your mic here. So Jacob is training in studio. Say hello to the people. We'll get it.
Hello. So
Jacob is taking over for Musso right now. Well, he's shadowing Musso to learn, but he's at the board right now, so learning. Like, these are kind of real bullets flying. What do you have any? What does this mean if dogs are too disordered for your taste? Like, I literally don't even know what he's trying to say to me.
I don't know.
Are you a dog guy?
I don't know. I'm a dog and a cat guy. I don't know you that well, but from the time that I've known you, I guess I could kind of see maybe that you don't like pets, but
why?
I don't know.
I'm wonderful with animals. Yeah. I'm legitimately wonderful with animals. Animals don't scare me. I'm very approachable to animals. I like all kind of animals. Dogs, cats, birds. Not a snake. If you have a snake, you're a sick individual. I'll put it to you that way. That's not a pet. That's a killer, is what that is. Nobody should have a snake in their house. If you have a snake in your house, you're deranged. Get rid of that snake.
What if it's not poisonous?
It's just a snake. Nobody should have a snake. Kill all snakes in the world, all of them. Come get me, PETA. I ain't even worried about you, chumps. I'll take you on. Yeah, I said it. Kill every damn snake in the world, all of them. But my snake, what about Jake the Snake's Roberts' snake? No, kill it. Snakes. Who needs a snake? What do you like? All three of you are just giggling like goons over there.
Well, snakes are important, to the...
No, they're not. There's nothing important about a snake. I go to sleep at night. I wake up in the morning. I come to work. I drive in my car. I support my family. A snake has nothing to do with my life day to day whatsoever. Nothing. The only time I'm ever going to encounter a snake, it's a negative encounter. Period. How would a snake positively impact my life?
Well, some people like snakes because they eat rats and other.
Don't care. I don't have rats. Don't have snakes around my house either. Lots of ways you can kill rats. You know what you do? You put out a rat trap. How about that? Hawks eat rats, don't they? They'll swoop down, get them with their big talons. Anything else? Paulie? I mean, come on.
I'm just enjoying your little montage of
snakes. Who is a freaking snake? I'm good with animals, not good with snakes. A snake's not an animal. A snake is a representation of Lucifer. A snake is the devil. That's what it is. I'm just a little off-put by Eric Taylor saying that I literally don't even know what it means. Dogs are disordered. Mean what, like unorganized? What is it?
They make messes. They might, go to the bathroom.
Well, then you train your dog.
Well, yeah.
When I got my first dog, Valley, her name on her papers was actually LSU's Death Valley. Called her Valley. Boxer. I read 15 boxer books. Train your dog, all this sort of stuff. The most well-behaved dog in the world. She's the greatest dog ever. I miss her a lot. And then we got Maggie. And Maggie was not smart. You ever seen The Lion King where they had the hyenas? And the one hyena who had the twirly-whirly eyes and the tongue hanging out? That was Maggie. She just was dumb. Super sweet. Loved her to pieces. But she was just a dumb dog. She would just walk into the wall.
She was a boxer?
Yeah.
I grew up with boxers as well. The first one we had was a male, and he was pretty dumb as well. But he was a good dog. But then we had a female. I think the females are usually a little bit more tame and not as wild. But
both mine were female.
Okay.
Yeah. And Erica had Turkey because she wanted a white dog named Turkey, a little white dog named Turkey. I get it. Whatever. Turkey lived to be 107 in human years, and barked every time I walked in the house and slept in the bed. I inherited Turkey. Erica had Turkey long before she and I were together. As I mentioned, Turkey lived to be 107 in human years. It was the oldest living dog ever. I actually think Turkey was 46 when she died. I think Turkey was born in 1973, and she just died a couple of years ago. Anyway, I was going to talk about Zion, but instead we talked about snakes and a dog named Turkey. But real quick, here was Willie Green on Zion's setback. Of course, if you missed the news, David Griffin announced that Zion re-aggravated his hamstring. It's going to be a couple of more weeks before he's reevaluated. Here was Willie Green.
A part of it is difficult in the sense that we all feel for Z having to navigate these injuries. And then a part of it is, it's an opportunity for guys to kind of band together and go out and play our best basketball. So, there's some good in it. There's also some difficulties in it. And so we'll navigate it as such.
Pels are on the floor tonight against OKC. It's a 7 o'clock tip. The Thunder are a 2.5-point favorite. By the way, CJ McCollum is listed as day-to-day. Zion and Dyson Daniels are out for tonight's game, so we'll see about CJ. I don't know. Let me check real quick to see. Actually, can one of you check Twitter real quick to see if the Pels have made an official designation for CJ McCollum for tonight's game. That might be why the line is reflected the way it is. But with Zion, I kind of look at it like this. We've almost been in a track relay race, how when you start running, but you're kind of looking back, reaching for the baton before you can grab it, and then just full on sprint. It feels like as long as Zion's been out, the Pelicans have been running, reaching back, waiting for the baton to be passed. And at some point, it feels like they just got to say, you know what, bleep it, and just go. Last year at the end of the year, they were awesome, man. Watching them get into the play-in, win their play-in series, and then push the Suns the way they did was so much fun to watch. So they can, because we've seen them do it before. But I think you almost have to look at it right now like, hey, if not when, if Zion comes back, awesome. That's lanyard. But right now, you just got to go. You just got to go as if he's not coming back and not keep looking over your shoulder when, wondering when the big fella, the reinforcements are coming. Because at this point, you got to think it may not. I mean, his history being what it is. He tried to push it, tried to get on the floor, had a setback. Well, you wait. He'll be reevaluated in another couple of weeks. Then what happens in another couple of weeks if he's not ready. You just keep looking over your shoulder. No. Go. Do we have an update? Have they updated it?
Just says he's still questionable.
Okay, questionable. Okay. We'll see when that that final decision comes down on CJ. So 7 o'clock tip tonight, Pelicans at the Thunder. Pelicans 29-28 on the season. The Thunder a few games behind at 27-28. Tied in the loss column there, but the Pels with a couple more wins than OKC. So that very crowded, congested West, the Pels are 7th right now, so the first team in the play-in, and the Thunder is in the 10 spot, which is the last team in the play-in. So in any event, I mean, every game you're going to see moving in the standings because they're all so congested. You've got the Nuggets leading the West, the Grizzlies 4.5 games back, the Kings 6.5 games back, then Dallas at 8.5, tied with Phoenix. The Clippers in the 6th spot are 9 games back. So the Pelicans are a game behind the Clippers, but they're also tied with the T-Wolves and only a half a game ahead of Golden State. So it's wacky. I mean, when you look at the Pelicans are a game and a half out from 13th in the West. So, but similarly, they're a game and a half from being 4th. Just go win. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Tell you every single day, y'all. My experience at the Williamson Eye Center, sensational. Could not have asked for a better experience. Dr. Blake Williamson, super professional, and his expert level of skill and the amount of progress in ophthalmology he's brought to the state of Louisiana is incredible. The lens replacement, the first in our state to perform that procedure, is constantly on the cutting edge of the newest technologies in ophthalmology. It's the Williamson Eye Center. I'm telling you, no matter your age or refractive issue, you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, you can do it. There is a way, and the Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Just go for that free consultation. I could not recommend Dr. Blake Williamson highly enough. He did my LASIK 5 years ago. If it's LASIK, if it's PRK, if it's a lens replacement, he can help you as well. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, final break of the show. We'll come back, do a little Otter Locks, find out what we're betting on tonight. We'll let the Otter take his victory lap after a very, very profitable night in Super Bowl 57 with a lot of prop bets that he had. So we'll recap all of that and find out what we're betting on tonight with Otter Locks when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Saw Darren James on Friday. Came out to the Rouses in Denham out at the remote. It's always good to bump into DJ. I always see a smiling face, a dude that works harder than anybody else. If you need to sell your home, you need the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. The proof is in the numbers. And maybe you're infatuated with the numbers, and that's fine if you are, because you should be. I mean, he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. That's not subjective. That's based on the number of homes closed. So he gets results. But working with Darren is just a dream. He takes something which is often rated as one of the most stressful experiences of people's lives, selling a home or moving, and makes it a stress-free experience because Darren takes care of everything. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Again, 335-7666, or online, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman.
Rockin' a hard place.
With Timothy Wayne. Plus two-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
And boy, do I have a healthy account with which to bet, thanks to this man. The one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, who had one hell of a Super Bowl Sunday. Otter, how are you?
Just a little bit of an exhale spot after 28 props last night in game last night.
How did you do with your in games?
I did well. See, I bet Philly before, thinking that they were going to score first. A lot of my props are Philly first, Philly this, Philly over 6.5 points first quarter. My biggest one was plus 650. Philly to score first, Kansas City to win.
Yes.
The double result.
I cashed that one as well. Yeah.
So I bet a little bit more, not a ton more on Kansas City at plus 3.5. So I had a chance to middle it, but I hit the double result, and it went the way I went. I got lucky at the coin toss. And that was the key, because I was hoping Sirianni, because they scored a touchdown on the first drive of both playoff games, that they flip. And take the ball first instead of defer. He's been a defer guy all year, but Kansas City won it, and my man, they waved it off real quick, and Philadelphia took it right down. So, Philly, 3 straight playoff games, they scored in the opening drive, a touchdown. So, kind of worked out. And, of course, Jalen Hurts. I love instant replay, don't you, Matt? Gainwell's down by an inch. And I'm like, I texted you immediately. I said, it's Hurts time.
Well, look, man, Otter, you were on fire. The double result of Philly scoring first and Kansas City winning, Jalen Hurts converting a 4th down, a 2-point conversion in the ball game, Jalen Hurts' first touchdown. It was a good. I'm looking at my account. My total in my DraftKings account tripled yesterday. So
congratulations.
It was a good night.
And it was And that was my positive. You know, the under stuff, man, it was not a good day for, you know, fading the public pit, you know, with, you know, because, I mean, both teams scored in every quarter.
Yeah.
There's a prop for that. That's 6-1. I mean, the totals, I mean, the books lost me over. Everybody bet the over. It jumped up a point on game day from 50.5 to 51.5. So it just, you know, I can't bet all these games like with these props. The Super Bowl, man, with so much build up, so much conversation. I mean, it's kind of fun. So tonight, one little game looking at in the Big 12. Big 12, we all know how good it's been this year. Look at Baylor. Baylor has won 9 of 10. Now, 8 of 9 in the conference, a 10th game against Arkansas in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. About 5 or 6 points.
1 minute remaining.
They come back tonight against West Virginia, who lost by 34. Huggy Bear may have not fed the guys, you know, after losing by 34. That's a tough one to kind of come back around. I like Baylor at Waco minus the points tonight against West Virginia.
All right, DraftKings, I'm looking at 6.5. So if you have 6.5, buy it to 6. But Otter likes Baylor tonight. All right, Otter, where are you, man?
I've just finished up in my son's soccer playoff game in La Place. So Hanny and Max are at the original walk-on on Burbank.
Love it. Walk-ons, Burbank. Get out, see Hanny, Max, and the fellas. Otter, thanks, man. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
All right. See you, buddy.
Well, we won't see Otter at 3, but we'll talk to Otter tomorrow for Otter Locks like we typically will. Really good night for the Otter. Again, he's got Baylor laying the 6 tonight. Muso, Paulie, Jacob, appreciate y'all. Have an awesome night, and we will see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com, home of the Charlie's Dozen. A dozen benefits extended to you and your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. And pretty fired up about this. I was chatting with Martin earlier today over at Shawbills. New special added for the rest of February. This is the first time you're hearing about it. BF Goodrich, Michelin, Toyo brands get $60 instantly off sets of 4 new tires with free install when you use your new or existing Shawbills credit card. How about that? It's always worth it. I'm telling you, always, always, always worth it when you go to Shawbills to ask about the Shawbills credit card, because you will get so many more magnified discounts when you use your Shawbills credit card. So, card benefits 6 months, no interest, double warranty on all service work, plus all the free installs and when applicable. It is Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Ford has $4,000 off MSRP plus $1,000 Ford credit cash on new 22 Ford F-150 XLT trucks. That's $5,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.